Hello and welcome back. In this exercise, we will learn how to use Power Query to extract data from different sources. We'll choose the storage mode as well as the connectivity type. And we will also learn to clean and load data into Power BI before the model of your data gets published. So let's get started. I'll just open up Power BI. All right, so let's get started with that. And what we can see is we will see how different data sources we can connect. There are some common data sources which are commonly used to connect data. Topmost is the Excel workbook. More common things is this text and CSV as well as SQL Server. And we can also use blank query by entering data together and then connecting it with the different other data sources. There are some native Power BI connectors or data sets as well that we can connect, like Power BI dataset, data flow, as well as the Dataverse, which can be used to connect and update with the Power apps as well as other Power platform applications. So first thing, we'll get the data from SQL Server, and we can add, this when click on this one, it opens up the SQL Server dialog box, and where you can enter the server details, database, as well as if you want to write a SQL statement, it can be written as well. The other aspect is the import versus direct query. So direct query just fetches data every time you load, but import mode stores it in the native engine of Power BI. So currently we can enter localhost and yeah, so the local host means that the SQL server is installed in the local machine, and you're connecting sample database, for example, or any other database in the server. But it is not recommended that you will use SQL and Power BI on the same machine. So there must be a in a professional environment there should be a dedicated server SQL server machine or Azure SQL Server Cloud, which stores all the database things. And we just click on OK. And this is the temporary AdventureWorks database. And this will open up the a dialog box with all the connectivity. So what we'll do is we'll connect to AdventureWorks DW T20, and from that let's fetch employee data. So if you just check, there is one query, them employee, and let's get them sales territory for each employee. And in order to sell, we need to have products as well as resellers, as well as the details about the sales territory, and most importantly, the fact table related to sales. So this, while selecting a particular table, gives a preview of the columns and the data itself, for how many, what's the structure of this data is, and then what's the detail about it. So yeah, so there are two aspects to it. Once you select the appropriate tables, either you can directly load the data or transform data. So since we are preparing data for cleansing, data cleansing and all the stuff, then what we'll do is we'll click on transform data, and this will pop up the Power Query editor, And this Power Query editor has multiple features of cleansing the data, loading the data together, and merging multiple data sources together. So yeah, it has all the menus related to transformation of the data. You can just group by, extract, split columns, and format the columns, as well as update the data type, count the records, and all the stuff. You can also add calculated columns, conditional columns, as well as duplication of the columns, as well as you can use different functions as well in that. And there are some machine learning and AI tools which are available as well for the updates. Yeah, so what we'll do is, once this opens up, we click on the employee table, and this will give us an overview of how many, um, what is the structure of this table. As you can see, this is employee key, as well as the first name and last name, along with their birth date, hire date, as well as the login ID, email address, and contact details associated with that. So what we'll do is um, we just need to check how many, a kind of a sanity check, that how many records are there and stuff like this. So this is 33 columns and 296 rows of that. There are two options given here: column profiling based on top 1,000 records, or column profiling based on entire data set. So if you are using a smaller data set, I recommend you to use this entire data set, so that we can completely view all the stuff. There are some column profiling and column detailing distribution comes in. So if you can click on this column distribution, it will give an overview of how many distinct values are there and how many unique values are there. Column profile, clicking on column profile will give, while selecting a particular column, it gives a value distribution, as well as the count, as well as the average, standard deviation, or any other stuff as well. So as you can see, it keeps on changing, and it gives more information based on the details about it. So these are the operations which we can perform using the Power Query editor. As you can see that this is the first names distribution that have been given from all 296 records, and there are some details that are given too in that. So yeah, so there's one more thing that we can do. We can click on column quality, and in that column quality, it will give us whether it has 100% valid records, it fulfills the requirement of the column type, as well as how many empty records are there. So for example, this is saying that one record is empty, and and in this multiple things, we can see that there are some null records, there are some empty records given there as well. So what we can do is um, we can start to perform some activity, and in order to do that, we'll just go to the uh, the position column. So if you can see the position column, we'll just click on go and then search position. This will take us to the product position column. It has 94% of the fields are empty. So if you just click on this one, this says these are the three positions or designations which are there for the employees, for the for the employees. So it gives us information related to the quality, as well as the null value and everything related to that as well. And let's explore another thing, employee sales territory. Employee sales territory gives for each employee and the sales territory region associated with that particular employee. It means that a single employee can have multiple regions, and it can she can manage multiple operations associated with that as well. Um, we also, let's go to the product table, and it has product information associated with that. It's that, how many, the product name, as well as, all the details associated with that particular product. So if you can scroll back to the last column, it says all the tables are connected, and there is a column called product subcategory. If you just click on the value of that column, it means that anything associated with the subcategory is joined in that particular column. So if you move towards you know transformation, and if you do some transformations, then you can easily identify which tables are connected, which are the list of items that are connected with a particular record. Let's move to the next one. It's the reseller. Reseller contains one row per reseller. Resellers are the ones who distributes and sells, and value add to the company. Say. So we are just checking the column profiling, and in that column profiling, we are checking that the reseller key is unique. Other than that, the geographic key, as well as phone number, business type, reseller name, and the number of employees and everything is being updated as well in that. And if you scroll to see that where is the if you click on this business type, it gives us value distribution. And if you can notice that the value distribution for the business type is written as warehouse as well as space house, which means that there are some discrepancy in that this particular category or the business type associated with that. So we'll apply to the transformations to relabel these records. So how many records are there? We should just click on this one. This will give us the details about it. So if you click on this one, and it will show up there are 5 records associated with this typo or not category, you would say. Moving towards the next one, it's the sales territory. Sales territory gives us the information about the region and the employees, and all the stuff associated with those particular categories. And yeah, uh, so yeah, sales category. Then move on to the fact table, which is the retail sales, and it also gives us all the information. Total product cost of this one gives us there are some null values associated with that, which means that we need to either fulfill those records, or we need to look into that. So 8% of the values are shown as empty, which is equal to the 76 records associated with that. So we will apply some transformations in filling up the values from there. So second part of the data preparation, we'll just fetch in the CSV file from the source. So this will give the overview of the reseller sales target, which means that these are the resellers. And so we'll go and open up the CSV file for the reseller sales target from the resource folders, and it is showing reseller sales target.csv. We just click on open, and this CSV file will also open up the employee ID and sales target based on every month. And yeah, so we just click on OK. In the query pane, it will add the sales target associated with the CSV file. if you just scroll and just overview, get overview of the each column distribution, and we can see that there is no particular column which contains empty values, because when there isn't a monthly sales target, a hyphen character is stored in that. So which means that it's, see the hyphen character, this is not empty, this is a hyphen character, and if you can see that due to that the text type, the data type is shown as text, and we cannot convert this to the number tab. These icons to the next to the columns represents the data type, and we can change the data type accordingly. Once the data query is loaded, it is changed by default, but some of the column we can do some transformation and then change the columns data type to the different format. There's one more CSV file that we will be importing, which is called the color format. And this color format gives us the color of the product based on the type. Each record contains the hexagon hex code to format the background and font colors as well. So now you will have you will have two queries, new queries related to CSV files, and you can see it from the source itself that it's coming from the CSV file, and for this one it is coming from the SQL Server database. So what we'll do is we'll now save this file, and because since we have not applied any transformations, it will ask us for to apply the transformation steps, but we'll click on apply later for this step. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.